Welcome back to Read No Evil, where we get into all the gritty details of your favorite horror books. This month, we're reading Opportunity by Wes See, our favorite local author. Woo! I'm Shaela Payne.
I'm Ian Franco, and I would like it to be known for the record that we recorded a version of this intro where I got to have some input, and I think it got deleted.
It's deleted.
Okay.
It has not made it to the final cut.
The cool thing I did that I feel like we should incorporate more, but you don't want to.
You know, maybe later down the line I'll give you some opportunity. Huh? Speaking of, we will be doing chapters 1 through 14. Yeah. I didn't say that. But this is an incredibly short book. It's a novella.
It's by definition a novella. It's a small, it's literally a bite-sized read that you can get through pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we wanted to pick it up because of it being a local author to our area, and it's
our friend,
our literal friend, a little friend. Like, I know this man,
but who is such a good writer, and I'm really excited to dive into this and just focus more on local authors.
What is there to say, like, to preface, like, this story? It's, okay. Opportunity, as a novella, it's a short story known as a springtime horror story. That was something that was specifically brought to our attention, like, as readers, of what this story is supposed to be about, and, like, the vibes of what this story is. It's horror, 100%, as we are Read No Evil and all that stuff. The story follows a possessed animal. A small squirrel, if you will. The cover art is actually kind of scary.
Who is also done by Carrie Friend, who is a local artist here in Portland, Oregon.
And also a friend of the podcast, if you'd say.
I don't know if she listens to it, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. Shout out to Carrie. Her art's awesome.
Also Wes the writer. I don't know if
also
we
Wes
said
the
that.
writer. He's also awesome. I have. In so many words.
Yeah. So this is Opportunity by Wes See, a local book that you can pick up. Where can you pick this up?
On Amazon.
On Amazon. Mm-hmm. Okay. You can buy this on Amazon today. That's a good deal. Mm-hmm. Books do not cost, they cost way more than that.
Go into the summary of the book.
Okay. The book follows. It's actually, it's really strange. It's not like a book that you get a bunch of information outright about what goes on and you're introduced to the world. I actually don't know what time period this is at all. I
think it's modern.
Huh?
I think it's modern. I think it's now.
Contemporary, if you will.
Okay. It's right now.
It's right now. The story starts in a really interesting way with the writing. It's literally, kind of not. You're a squirrel.
Yeah.
You follow a squirrel, apparently from the very first page, being born for the first time, but the descriptions of what the squirrel is feeling, seeing, hearing, smelling, all that stuff are very visceral because it's from the perspective of a squirrel that just got born.
Yeah.
Which is something I thought was cool. But then, this isn't just a biopic. This isn't a biography on a squirrel. It's not. It starts to derail. Basically, you're this squirrel that from a very young age had to fend for itself and survive very briefly, but then it gets captured by a father of a family and brought in to be this family's just a pet. Mm-hmm. It's very vague. Mm-hmm. The chapters are literally, it's not like how before where you go, oh, this chapter was kind of long. It was like 30-something. I'm looking at a chapter right now, and it's like it hasn't even hit the halfway point of a page by design, because these chapters feel like they're supposed to be markers of the story as you're progressing. Like they're individual key moments that pushes the story forward very gently, and your hand isn't being held in any way. That you get introduced to a family. There are about 5 kids, I think. Did I count that right?
What is it? You got Mia, who's the oldest, and then you have George, who's the second oldest, who's 16. I don't know how old Mia is.
There's
I'm assuming
Anthony.
17. I think Anthony is 14? Yes. I don't know how old he is. I can't remember. And then there's Eddie.
Yes.
Mikey and Is it Ruby or Rudy?
I'm looking. You said Mia?
Yes. Dude. I said, is it Rudy or Ruby?
Oh, it's not George, it's Jorge. It's different. Ruby. It's Ruby.
It's Ruby?
Yes, okay. I found it.
Okay,
we got all the kids down. Then there's mom and dad. Mom and dad are going away for the weekend on like a little trip. One of the kids was like, can I go? And they're like, no. I didn't catch the reason.
I have a question. Are you going into like the summary of the book? Or are you done with that and now you're just talking about it? Because you didn't really say that you were done summarizing the book.
I'm supposed to be summarizing the entire book. All we did was read chapters 1 through 14. How am I supposed to know where it goes? Okay, we know where it goes because the book itself. Okay, look, let me just set the record straight.
The book's I'm confused great. Listening to you.
Oh, I'd be confused listening to myself. Okay. Let me set the record straight.
This is why I revoked these privileges, by the way.
Let me set the record straight. This story is about a squirrel that is weirdly, lightly adopted into a family. And over the course of a weekend with a bunch of underage children, this squirrel becomes possessed by some kind of spirit.
Okay, that's it. That's fine.
And that's all we know.
And that's all we know.
All we know is there is some kind of a
We don't even know that in the first section. I was just saying, give a rundown of the first section.
Look at the cover of this book.
All right, guys. There's blood. You know what? I'm going to give the rundown.
What's your version of this rundown?
We follow a squirrel that from birth eats its brother. Mother's abandoned because it probably got killed.
I probably should have mentioned that, huh? Yeah.
And then we get introduced to this family that has more kids than they should. It's a religious family.
Wow. Opinions.
100%. And then you also get introduced into Father Dinkley. Is that how you say his name?
It starts with a D. It's
Anyways, that's supposed to be a call if the younger kids need anything because the parents are about to go out of town.
Father Denneker.
Denneker?
Denneker.
Okay. Anyways, whenever you see the father and they introduce it, and they're switching perspectives from what the squirrel is actually seeing versus just a fly on the wall to the family, and then I think it switches to the father's perspective, Father Denneker.
Yes.
So it switches perspective multiple times. That's what, you were saying about it doesn't, it doesn't walk you through it. You have to pay attention. And everything's short. Yeah.
There isn't a specific protagonist that you're following in the story.
Anyways, so then the family leaves. The parents leave, and then you're just now following the kids and the squirrel. That's it. That's the whole first, and now I'm done explaining the summary of part 1.
That I failed.
You didn't do anything. You just talked, and I support you.
That's literally what this platform is for. It's for talking.
Okay.
We're supposed to be engaged in
just
conversation.
Off of this section alone. What are your thoughts?
This is awesome. Yeah. This is awesome. I'm always the kind of person when I read a book that I want more information out of it, and I wish there was more to see. But I think, the author, Wes See, wanted the story to be driven a particular way where you get introduced to some little elements and bits of data, information, but you're not going to get an entire whole picture because it's still trying to give you that feeling of, the feeling I'm getting with the squirrel is that the longer the squirrel's alive, just being a person, imagine a dog, the more it's alive, the more it builds habits and starts to learn things and understand things. And that's what the writing is doing, which is the very beginning, the squirrel speaks to itself and in its own train of thought, consciousness sort of thing. It's very blunt with this description of words. It's white is cold, white is death, and I hate it, that kind of thing.
Flesh is home.
Flesh is home.
Flesh is comfort.
Exactly, saying that it's winter right now and it's cozied up in a little nest. Cool. Yeah. But then last thing I wanted to say was that the descriptions used for particular things go straight into body and violent horror tendencies.
Oh, because it's instinctive. There's no humanity in this. And so you have the squirrel that is just animalistic. Literally, it's just an animal. And then you pair it with this heavily involved family that have their own lifestyle, that they have their own roles to play. You're introduced to the older siblings, the younger ones, how they interact, the relationship with the parents and how they interact with just the oldest sibling, Mia.
Very quickly,
and then on top of that, whenever it goes, they just lost a dog. So it's they're also there's the grief, and then whenever you go down to the Father Denneker, he is talking about like seeing a woman outside of this small church visit like a child's grave. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you have three different perspectives that are really fast because there's not a lot of words and it is so instinctive and animalistic, and then you have that like parallel almost. Does that make sense?
It does. Okay. It's like each one of these different perspectives are parallel to each other. Mm-hmm. And They do. I feel like they're going to end up like intertwining. Like, that's the way a story is always going to work, and I'm sure that that's the way the writing is intending it to be. That the squirrel's going to already with the end with chapter 14 has more adjectives literally in writing to be able to describe certain scenarios, and it sounds more like it's more conscious of itself, and it is more quote unquote personified.
Whenever it was the first chapter and it was the end of the first chapter, because these chapters are like a page, by the way. Like a page, 2 pages.
Maybe 2 of them are like 2 pages long.
But the first chapter is one of the longer chapters, and you're following the squirrel. At the end of that chapter, it goes, everything that I learned, I wasn't taught. So it's just what came natural. Whenever the squirrel, now with chapter 14, and that is just a page, the squirrel's talking about how, like, it's becoming more coherent, and it's learning the same way of, like, the family, and like learning their dynamics. And so it's like you're following the squirrel's train of thought and how it's matching. It's getting really close so early on about how like the family interacts with each other and like figuring out its place for that. And hunger is the main thing that's driving it. And that's probably the only difference if it's learning so fast.
I also noticed a really fun detail. The chapter titles, they're just letters. But the first 2 chapters aren't, so far, I guess. The first chapter is called 1, but it's called The Animal. And then chapter 2 is chapter 2, and then Friday. That's it. And then after that, it just goes to numbers.
You know, I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that until now, looking at the book again.
So the last week of this podcast, the last week of this month, for this book, we're going to have an interview with Wes See himself. And
the glorious capital him.
And I need to write down a lot of those questions because I'm just curious about like why he chose that.
I would love to get some insight on that. Like for example, I can see where this is going about why this book is called Opportunity, but I'd like to hear literally from him, from the horse's mouth itself, if you will. Why did he feel it was the appropriate title?
Yeah.
Because it comes off to me as like the opportunities, like the squirrel it got captured, like trapped, brought to that family. There's an opportunity there. There's something about a spirit board that got mentioned.
Okay.
So we know what the general plot is going to be.
Well, they're also praying. They go to church.
They're
I'm
religious.
assuming, it's a religious family, and I'm assuming just like Christian. And you're like, okay, where is this gonna go? Because you've already mentioned the priest, and then you've already like said that like Mia's like, oh, then I'm gonna go to church, and then like the squirrel himself was like, and then they said something, and then they all started eating. So I'm assuming it was like a prayer, right, and then so I'm like, okay, what's who's getting possessed?
On the topic of possessed, they mentioned something that the kids in conversation with each other, they called it Mr. Tom.
So Mr. Tom's the dog.
Is it the dog?
That's what I read it as.
I read it as Mr. Dog is something else.
Brando?
Literally in 12, Anthony, one of the smallest kids, goes, I want to talk to Mr. Tom.
So is Mr. Tom just a fucking like dude? Like a wait, is Mr. Tom a ghost?
I think Mr. Tom's some kind of a spirit because they brought up a spirit board.
Well, it's not even the spirit board because remember whenever the Mia's talking to the mom and Mia's like, "Hey, mom, please just take the spirit board. Like it's creeping me the fuck out." And mom's like, mom's like gaslighting the fuck out of her. She's like, "No, it's fine. Like Anthony just like always did that. Like remember like before the spirit board, he always just used to talk to himself."
But there you go. In chapter 12, Anthony comes in wanting to play with the spirit board, and then all the other kids are like, no, not right now. And then he's like, why not? And then they talk about dinner, et cetera, but then Anthony says that he wants to talk to Mr. Tom, and he says that he wants to talk, I can feel it. So I think it's a ghost, some kind of spirit, an evil spirit perhaps.
An evil spirit. Okay, I'm thinking, whenever we were following the priest for that very short time, and the woman comes up to the graveyard and goes and like just stares at a grave, and then the priest is like, all right, I'm gonna go out there now, but then the woman turns around and leaves. Whenever he walks outside of the church, he walks past 2 small graves and the kids. Is that like future shit? Like foreshadowing kids' graves? Or is that you know, like a kid has passed?
I'm trying to remember what I'm seeing what you're saying. That's definitely foreshadowing. That's 100%.
No, I'm not just sorry. I don't just mean foreshadowing. Yeah, that makes sense because it's like, why would you show that? But no, I was asking like, are we taking a look into the future, or is that now and a kid has passed?
I'm taking it that that's now.
Okay, so there are already dead kids. And then we get to see graveyards, and we don't know who that woman is. See, there's like a lot of like little steps where I'm like, okay, what's coming up?
What's happening?
What's happening?
Literally. And that there's little sections that I have to reread again because that Mr. Tom got brought up before, also by that kid Anthony. Because
that's why I thought it was the dog. Oh,
I get why. Okay, because I was looking through that section again. What that conversation was that little kid Anthony sees like the squirrel for the first time and stuff. He's like, yeah, it's a new pet because like we thought like after like the dog and stuff, and like, oh, maybe one kid goes, maybe we can call this squirrel like whatever the dog's name was, like Brando.
That's what I said.
Right? Yeah, but Brando 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't, and little Anthony goes, we don't need Brando 2. We have Mr. Tom.
Okay, and that's where I was getting confused. So Mr. Tom is deadass just a fucking spirit.
A spirit that Anthony thinks is like a pet friend to him.
Okay.
Because he's probably talked to him before.
Well, switching over from that stuff to be more about just like the writing in general, I really love the dynamics between all of the siblings.
Oh, they each sound like they're their own little person.
Oh, and I find that can be hard because I see opportunity and I see this novella as, and this is not like revolutionary. But like a short film. Where it's like you have a lot of information. I was just thinking about that. But like a 40-minute short film.
Oh yeah, like a lengthy one.
Not short. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, in total, this book. Yeah. Oh, well, short films are considered up until like 30, 40 minutes.
Up
until whatever the threshold is. I'd say 50 minutes is you're already practically a feature.
Okay, well, I don't want to get into that. But anyways, yes, like a long version of a short film. Yeah, like 40 minutes. So whenever I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, every single piece of information is relevant. So I'm like, when are we going to hit what? Whenever they're talking about like Mia and it's not George. It's
Jorge.
It's Jorge. Damn, I read that wrong. Okay.
Maybe it's a cool thing because Jorge and George are interchangeable in English and Spanish. So you saw Jorge and your brain was like automatically translating it. They're interchangeable?
Kind of. So they're the same name?
George is the English version of Jorge. Jorge is the Spanish version of George.
And whenever Wes comes,
we can ask him.
We can ask him which one he did. Okay, so whenever all that stuff happens, they're even like Wes even writes out the layout of the house. And I'm like, why write that out? Like, what's going to happen?
There's meaning there.
There's meaning there. Even with Mia walking through and, was it Eddie almost hitting her in the face with the ladder to the attic?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you get up there so fast? So I'm like, okay, well, Eddie's the one that like runs to the house. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm seeing the seeds that are being planted and I can't wait to see what flower grows.
Exactly. Because, okay, also to preface this novel, if you go to the end of it and look, this novel is only 78 pages.
Oh,
it's a short little motherfucker.
The episodes of this month are going to be short because it's a novella.
This episode is actually over right now.
It's like,
like, we're done. Bye. So I was looking at this and having that same train of thought where I was like, this could honestly, we could make this a short film. Like, this could be one. But then I think getting a squirrel is going to be hard as hell. Like, I don't know what's going to...
Who the hell is being the squirrel?
Whatever ends up happening, just having a normal-ass squirrel is hard enough.
It's either that, it's either you are figuring out how to get a squirrel and work, because we're only working with non-union actors, right?
Non-union squirrels.
Non-union squirrels, because let's be real, we can't afford SAG right now, and that's okay. Everyone deserves to get paid their right. But what I was going to say, it's either that or VFX, and either way, we can't afford that.
Do you know what we can't afford? fucking casting 5 children.
What if we do like age up?
We're not getting a 28-year-old man to be a 10-year-old boy that wants to talk to a spirit.
Okay.
And he's like, I want to talk to Mr. Tom today. And it's like, Anthony, you're 45.
It's like, sure, Anthony.
It's like, yes, Anthony, you're a grown man.
Okay.
We can't do that. Dang it. No, this would be hard to do if we wanted to. Because we keep bringing up that conversation if we made this a movie of... this one would be tough because it's literally about the things that are so difficult to do in a production anyways, which is dealing with children and dealing with animals. The worst part is that it's an animal that, at least to my knowledge, you can't train. Because how do you get the squirrel to act?
Oh, actually, okay, I will tell you off of this podcast, but there are movies that do that.
They train squirrels?
Willy Wonka. Okay, I'll just say it now on the podcast. Willy Wonka, when, the spoiled brat kid gets run up by squirrels.
Girl?
No, the other one.
The other one?
Yeah, the one that has like 16 pets, and she's like, I want a pony, and she wants more. Yeah. She gets run up by squirrels.
And those squirrels were trained?
Yeah.
Wait, those were real squirrels?
Those were real squirrels.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was...
Just like in Candyman, they used real bees. And that lead actor, he worked out a deal where every time he got stung, he got paid $1,000. And by the end of it, he got paid $22,000. He
got stung 22 times.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have not done that movie. Well, $22,000
Can we go back to the book?
Back to this last little thing. Me, a 10-year-old watching Willy Wonka, I thought those squirrels were VFX.
Nope.
At 10 years old, I was like, that's fake.
Go!
Back to the book.
Did you have any questions? Okay, do you have any like setups? Like, what do you think's going on?
Squirrel's gonna do something nasty because he keeps talking about eating meat and flesh.
Oh, okay, so that's another thing. The horror elements. Okay, let's get into the good shit. All of it's already good, but let's get into the good shit.
Let's get into what's actually good about this book, because everything so far was not.
No.
No, that's not true.
When it comes to the horror elements, it's like what we were saying about that animalistic instinct that comes from that, and how everything is so brute and immediate and blunt about how...
It's literally zeros and ones. If it's not this, it's this.
But, so, on chapter 14, you have, like, the squirrel constantly talking about flesh. And what are they eating, like, bacon or something like that? Oh, meatloaf, okay.
They're having a meatloaf dinner with all the kids. And drinking, I'm assuming, like, Kool-Aid or something, because...
Oh, the red dripping down.
Sweet-smelling red drink, yeah.
That drips down from Mikey's, like, face.
Because, and it's as red as blood. It's probably Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but they say, like, even that, it's just, like, it's flesh. Like, it's meatloaf, which is, like, not flesh at all. I wouldn't consider it flesh. I consider it flesh as much as I guess I would consider, like, ground beef or ground turkey or something like that. Like, I don't actually consider it flesh.
Isn't meatloaf just, like, ground beef?
Yeah,
in, like, a log?
Yeah, and I think, like, with
it's like
some
meat
stuff.
bread. Ugh, yeah. I never had meatloaf.
But anyways, all of those horror elements are, like, really tying into it. It's stormy outside. You've got the weather.
It's a stormy weekend.
They've already mentioned, like, a cemetery. You've got small rooms with rafters in it. You've got the attic. You've got, like, a Ouija board already getting brought into it. The cage.
It's like the setup. It's like a horror setup of, like, ooh, we're in for a bad weekend.
Well, whenever reading over it one time, right? Because I've reread this section a couple times just to make sure that I understood it. But it's like reading through it the first time, I don't see it as like horror-esque. I'm taking those elements now and piecing them together and being like, oh, they're about to be in for like a weekend of hurt because of everything that's being set up. But whenever I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, it's just a family that took in a little squirrel.
A little silly squirrel.
And the parents are away from the weekend, and they're church-abiding citizens, and they are just going to live their life happily, and it just happens to be raining outside.
Yeah.
But whenever I keep going, yeah.
That's the thing. I can see if you're seeing it like that, but I'm not reading it like that. I'm
let
reading...
me peer inside the mind of Ian Franco.
Thank you. My full name. I'm getting a really creepy vibe from literally the way this is written.
Okay.
Because it's like I said, the description of stuff is... what's the way to describe... How do I describe the description? It's... you can say something where, like, a character, this person, walks into this room and closes the door behind them. The way the author is writing this stuff is saying that sentence, but from a perspective that is really twisted and, like, devoid of emotion.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm getting the feeling of. Because of that, it's so fun to read because it's so quick, it's so fast, this. That's what it is. There's an air, like this feeling of emotionless happening with the way stuff's been described. Well, because the squirrel hasn't
learned emotion yet.
Right.
That's the way that I see it, is like, even though we change perspectives, it's all from the squirrel. So it's like, until...
Would you think that this is all, everything that we're reading is from the squirrel's perspective somewhat?
Somewhat, not necessarily from its perspective, but from its, like, from its mind. Like, we're observers. Like, whenever we're watching the family, we don't have any connection to the family. So we're watching it the same way that a squirrel would watch it. We understand the context of it, but the squirrel doesn't. But that's why there's no, like, emotion underneath of it. Like, even though the dialogue and action between the characters is written well, you're seeing it from that perspective of, like, not necessarily caring because, like, you don't know what's going to happen next. Mm-hmm. The same way that the squirrel does, because the squirrel's just hungry. Like, we want to know how it's getting tied to the squirrel. We want to know what's happening next in the story. The squirrel's like, I just want to get fed. I don't really care what this family's doing. When it goes with the priest, it's the same thing. And so whenever we start to see more from the squirrel, we'll probably start, like, as the squirrel feels or, like, becomes more educated.
Pursues an education
to relive its, I don't know where I was going with that. But
That's
anyways,
fine.
I mean, I think we're going to start to follow that. So I think it's more of just, like, kind of letting the audience feel as if the squirrel is feeling in that writing.
That was the way, I felt that way in the beginning. I had, like, a small light bulb moment with the way you're describing that, mm-hmm. that animals, like squirrels, I think most animals, mm-hmm. save for a few, us included, and I think 2 or 3 more different species, mm-hmm. are the only species on the planet that are capable of spatial, and it's not spatial awareness, mm-hmm. it's that idea of you can think about tomorrow, and you can think about yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, you have that conscious ability. Like, most birds aren't capable of seeing anything. Yeah, it's like some kind of spatial awareness.
I know what you're talking about.
It's
I mean? Like time awareness.
Time, like space-time awareness, like that kind of thing, right?
We're floating
where
through
there
space.
Are literally birds and even squirrels that, like, they go plant seeds and nuts and acorns to find later, and they always forget where they do it.
Thank God.
And do you know that squirrels are responsible? I think the number was 70% of trees that are planted on the planet.
That's why I said thank God.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love their forgetful
asses. I love squirrel. I wonder if that was taken into account, and we can ask him later. The idea of, technically, the story is being presented in a way where we're only thinking about and being presented information about what's happening in the current moment with no forethought as to where things are going and where things came from.
Yeah.
Even though it's not fair, you have the human characters talk about stuff, like they mention Mr. Tom, they mention previous incidents, they mention a dog.
I think it's yes, like, yes and, or, like, or. Like, I think you can have both at the same time.
Right.
I mean, as a reader, as wanting to know as much from the story that's happening and understand every single word and kind of see what the author is thinking, because, like, whenever you're writing stuff out, I'm assuming, like, there's a lot of information that you don't know when to put where. So It's like, you don't want to make sure that you forget anything, because there is a time and place for it, just like in film, about when to show certain information.
Like Game of Thrones, they forgot, like, certain details in the last season.
They made their decision.
They made that decision to do that.
Forget.
And they're like, we're going to go do Star Wars, and then they didn't get to do that.
Exactly.
So that's the idea, is maybe that we're literally following this, not just from the perspective of a squirrel, literally, like, mm-hmm. from what it sees, because we get stuff from Father Denneker and stuff, so that technically shouldn't be possible. Mm-hmm. But what we're getting is that emotive state of being a squirrel. Mm-hmm. That it's only, I love that we're squirrel coded right now.
That's okay.
That the idea is that we are experiencing things the way a squirrel does.
Yeah.
Which is, it's just the here, it's just the right now. I'm learning things, mm-hmm. but I'm not thinking about, like, where are these kids going to go to college, for example.
Okay,
like,
do you care about the family at all?
You know what? First instance, I kind of didn't, but I'm trying to read it more carefully, because there's definitely information that I need to know from these kids.
I'm not talking about...
Like, I kind of don't care about it. I'm like, okay, can we...
I'm not saying that when you don't care, that you're not reading that area or don't care about what's happening. I'm saying that, like, are you emotionally attaching yourself to these kids as the story goes? Because I gotta be honest with you, no.
Nah, really. No. I feel like I should. I feel like I have to.
But that's where the void of emotion, whenever you're right, like whenever Wes has, like, what he's written in the stars.
What he's described and what he has scripted into the stars.
That stuff that we were talking about, that's what that reminds me of. It's like, you're not supposed to.
Like care or feel about.
Yeah, you're wanting to see how it relates.
I was gonna say jokingly, but almost seriously, the thing that I am emotionally connected to right now is that squirrel.
That's because that's where I think you're supposed
little guy.
I'm like,
are you gonna make it?
What are you doing, babe? Where are you
going? You ate your brother. That's crazy. But
Okay, 1 second. He was like, my brother would have wanted this. No, babe. I don't think he would have.
I think his brother would have, like his weaker little brother squirrel, would have wanted to live and wanted the same things that this squirrel did. Also,
the dad peering in and then leaving and never coming back. Hilarious.
That's how it be.
No.
That's what it's like. He's like, I'm
gonna go get some milk. And you're a squirrel?
Yeah, deadbeat squirrel dad. He's like, I'm gonna go get some milk at the convenience store.
Do you think that the dad was there to get more of like the mom bussy?
Sure.
But then the mom definitely died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came, he was like, can we go make some more squirrels perhaps? And then realized that she's not there, she's probably dead. So he's like, what's in there? Ugh.
She's just like, oh, these ugly ass kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them looks like it's gonna eat the other one.
Oh, because he's like first bite. He was like,
Is the squirrel a he or a she?
I think it's a he.
Let's say. The brother squirrel is a he. Like, because it's described as a brother.
So is our main character
a woman killer?
A woman?
A killer woman?
Are we continuing the trail of where we find and read about and follow women killers?
Women kill. Finally?
Finally?
At long last, we are continuing.
I'm going to text Wes and I'm going to ask him.
We should ask him that. Is Squirrel Girl?
Is Squirrel Woman girl?
Squirrel Girl's a
no,
comic book character.
That. I know.
Right, we don't need
and she's OP as fuck, but we're not going to get into that.
Sure, whatever, man.
No, she actually is.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, she is.
That's great. We can move on.
Keep your attitude over there. Okay, we're moving on. What else do you want to
go? What else is there to talk about? We learned nothing. No, we talked about what we learned.
It's exposition. Everything that's getting set up, and I think it's for it to be the first part. It's setting up all the characters that are needed. It got the mom and dad out of the house. It introduces fucking Mr. Tom, the dead dog, a couple dead kids, the priest, a random fucking woman in the cemetery.
I love that you had to know dead dog is a thing that gets introduced.
Because we talked about it. I need to know. I need to list it for myself, if anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the priest guy, we don't know anything about him except he might be...
He's intertwined with the family.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they named him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm curious to see about like the spirit. Because I was also being like, do you think that we're watching these characters as the spirit? Like when we're not the squirrel, we're the spirit, sort of thing.
Oh.
As a spectator.
We're Mr. Tom.
Oh fuck. Well, I prefer Mrs. Tom. Wait, have you thought it?
Miss what?
What?
They called him Mr.
That
Tom.
was a bad joke, okay?
It was. I didn't find it funny in any way. I thought it was so
Yeah, you don't have to keep going down that train of thought. You know that, right? Okay.
Like I was trying to think about what's the opposite of funny. Like what's the complete opposite
and
where
it's
like
that
you will
joke.
Wow. You did that to yourself.
I thought that's what you were going for.
No, I was just gonna go like I was incredibly displeased with having heard that. Last thing I wanted to say about this is that I really like where this is going. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to read for another 15 minutes and have a new episode ready.
And we will be prepared this week. We will read ahead.
I'm going to write notes. We'll try to not be... That is one thing to announce very nicely and lovingly that it's not Tuesday when we're recording this.
It's Monday.
Is it Monday?
No, it's Sunday.
It's midnight yet?
It's Sunday. No, it's Sunday.
Thank God. It's still... Okay. We are recording this with a little bit of time. Barely. I remember the days when we were so ahead. We were just like, let's read this up.
We're getting back into that.
Yeah.
But
slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, really fun read so far.
I'm having a good time. I'm really curious to see where this goes and just what I want to know what the climax is. I'm curious. I'm super intrigued. Yes, I don't care about the family. I want to see what happens to them.
I want to see the squirrel get like shredded.
I want to see the squirrel like live up to its full potential.
I want to see the squirrel bench 185.
No, literally. Thank you guys so much for listening. Next week we'll be going over chapters 15 to 40, and if you want to pick up the book, you can get it on Amazon for $10. Super great, really easy read. Please read it. It's awesome.
Support your local authors.
Support your local authors.
This is as local as it gets. I have shaken this person's hand.
No, literally.
Oh, right. So we are on multiple audio platforms. You might be listening to one of them, including Spotify or Apple Music or Podcasts, as I believe it's called now. And we're also on YouTube, but right now there's no like actual video going on. It's just a funny little graphic thing. We're working on that stuff. But we'd love it if you give us what? We would love it if you could give us a rating of some kind, preferably in the 4-star, 5-star region. If it's 4 stars, please provide a detailed description as to why it's 4 stars and not 5. Because it took you.
Also,
you clicked.
Comment what animal you'd want to be if you had your choice.
If you could be a possessed animal, which one would that be?
Which one you want? Thank you again. Anyways, keep reading more evil. Bye.
Bye-bye.